I said put Vax in the corner. What I really meant was like Vax behind you somehow, kind of like he had the cutouts of Adam Savage behind him.
Oh my God, that's hilarious too.
That's actually more what I meant, but I said corner for some reason. I don't really know why.
You know what else would be funny is if we just put him like behind a cardboard cutout or something.
As if he's on a TV?
As if he's on a TV, but he's not. Yeah. Kind of like when we did the cold open with Mike in studio and he walked from behind the TV. Best cold open ever.
Yeah. We could still put him like by all the blinky lights. We could put him on one set, Skyping in from the other set.
I've been thinking, you know how we do, we're about to go in the cold open and right the bug all changes and now we have the new banners in the bug that talk about each news story and everything else. I thought it'd be kind of fun for when we go to like us at the table during the cold, if the banner said, I don't know if anyone would even notice, it just said cold open.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I thought that'd be kind of funny, right? So you get the banner from the news stories, right? Because we're covering it with the banner. You get the second banner, and then you cut to us at the table, and I'm like, I do a thing, and the banner says cold open. I thought that'd be.
I don't know, but yeah.
No, you got a better one?
I was gonna say that only works for the live show. Is the problem. I was thinking that each time that we do a cold open, because hopefully we're going to not do the cold open much longer.
Well, we are. We're just going to do it, not after the fact.
We're going to be doing it cold.
Warm cold.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. That between here and there, that there's a little thing on the corner that tells you which take it was. Yeah.
Cold
Actually,
open 1, cold open 2.
That might be a little hilarious also, because you wouldn't have context. You wouldn't have context in the edited show.
Right.
But if you looked over and you look over, it's like cold open take 7.
Right. But it's not a cold open. That's the problem.
You're like, oh my God. Well, yeah, no, it's a cold open.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, that whole opening before that's all considered a cold open.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was funny.
Well, speaking of cold opens.
Yes. Yeah, we need to build one of those. And I hate to. I'm going. So here's the plan. We're going to thank you for the bug. We're going to do our cold open, and then we didn't quite execute on news like I wanted. So we're going to go back and we're going to try it again. Not the whole news segment. I want to try like 1 or 2 stories. And I want to tweak it in real time.
Do you want to do the stories that we didn't do?
Yeah, that's a great idea because then we could. Yeah,
because we didn't actually talk about them.
We didn't do them, so then we can actually have a conversation about it. And that's perfect.
Yeah.
And then you guys can stuff and things. Yeah, that's exactly what we'll do. So yeah. Okay. On that note, let's see here. What was your favorite? Mike? What was your favorite?
China launches Long March 5.
Okay. What's your name? What's your favorite?
Atlas 5 will launch a Cygnus. Cygnus goes on.
And then I'll say, and I have an interview with
Jim Cantrell.
Jim Cantrell of Vector Space Systems. Oh, great. And then you'll say you'll do.
Yeah, if everyone could yawn during the open too, that would be fantastic.
I have a good reason. And then you'll then you'll do the Tomorrow Starts Right Now. Right.
Sure.
Right. Are you gonna give me a right?
No, of course not. Why would I do that?
Because tomorrow starts right now. All right.
I don't believe in vocal fry.
Right. Who was first? It was all right. So it'll go Mike, Jared, me, Carrie Ann. Right?
Yep.
Yep. All right, here we go. Number one.
Coming up, China launches Long March 5. Cygnus will ride an Atlas. Have more energy? So chill out. Okay.
Number 2, he's gonna.
He wasn't ready. Is what he's trying to say.
Cold open
you're
2.
Good. Deuces.
Take 2. We need to say take 2 down there. All right, here. Yeah. Did you say? Wait, hang on. Hold up.
Yeah, he changed it. It says cold open.
That's all sorts of magical. You know what's fun is I say words out here, they happen over there. I don't know. I like this. This is great. I have superpowers. All right, number two.
Coming up, China launches Long March 5. Cygnus will ride an Atlas.
I have an interview with Jim Cantrell of Vector Space Systems.
We talk about daylight saving time, and I've got comments from last week's show. All that and more coming up on this week of Tomorrow.
Right now.
No.
Let's do it one more time. Mike, you were definitely pulling your energy back. It didn't feel quite right. And everyone needs a beat in between. I did the same thing.
And no, that was not a Walking Dead reference. I don't watch Walking Dead.
And number 3. There's number 3, number 3, number 3, 3 of them.
Coming up, China launches Long March 5. Cygnus rides an Atlas.
I interviewed Jim Cantrell of Vector Space Systems.
All that and more coming up on this episode of Tomorrow. Apparently, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I realized because I realized as soon as I started talking, I didn't actually give you a beat, and I was like, damn it.
Oh, actually, no, but you don't need to give me a beat. They have to do beats because there's a lens flare that goes in between the two.
Right, but
but between you and I, there's nothing. Fucking every time. Every time. Oh my God, I did that one show, and every time I watched it, I just busted out laughing.
Yeah,
it was all sorts of fantastic.
Every time.
Every single time. Even when I'm at home, I've seen this like a million times because I edited that. I busted out laughing every time. I'm sure everyone's like, he's freaking insane. Number 4.
Coming up, China launches Long March 5. Cygnus rides an Atlas.
I interviewed Jim Cantrell, the CEO of Vector Space Systems.
All that and more coming up on this week's episode of Tomorrow.
Right now! Right now! Right now! Right now! Right now! But there's nothing we can do? Okay, then there you go.
And Dada works with MDF. Tomorrow begins right now. That was a good one.
And Dada works with MDF? I do like that.
Was it just at the end here, or was my audio bad the whole time?
Sounds good now.
All right. I think we should try the news again. So one thing I wanted to change is, Carrie, you were entering the stories, but I don't think we should do that. I think you should toss to the person, and they should kind of give you, so be like, all right, so Jared, what are you talking about today?
I'm talking about a meteorite that we found on Mars.
We found meteors on Mars?
Yes.
Like?
Meteorites, not meteor
Wrongs? I saw that coming. Why is that important?
Wait, are we doing this right now for real? Or?
No, I mean, but
Yeah, apparently, because I'm like, what the what?
But that's basically what I think we want to try doing really quick.
Okay.
All right. So let's. I think you should also practice a show intro. So intro the show, but then go into the. We'll do the show intro and then toss to. Sorry, I don't have the news in front of me.
Toss to me for launches?
No. Because we skipped the last two, right? So toss to Jared first and then toss to Mike.
Sure.
Define what?
So we're going to intro the show. We're going to go to black and start the show as if it were a brand new show.
Okay.
Right? Well, I mean, you don't have to right now. I mean, yeah. So we're going to go to black, come up, we'll do the Patreon slates as if it were normal. And then you're gonna be like, all right, Jared, what are you talking about? And Jared, you're gonna start with your last story.
Sure.
And then once Jared does his last story, we're gonna jump to Mike. He's gonna do his last story, and then we're done. We don't have to get out.
Do
of
we
it.
jump to Mike? I guess that's part of the confusion, right?
I don't know.
Because
That's part of why we're playing this game is I don't know how we transition yet. So I want to see how this feels and go from there. So I don't know how you get from Jared to Mike is my point. Oops.
yeah, me neither.
Right, but I mean, so there's definitely an end to the conversation. Be like, all right, cool, thanks, Jared. Mike, what have you got for us? Something like that.
Yeah.
Right? All right.
I mean, not yeah, but sure.
Right? Does that make sense, Dada?
Inherently, it makes sense. That's not how I think. That's not how I think, right? So that's not how I think. That's not how I act. That's not. right? I mean, you want it to be comfortable, you want it to be conversational, so we have to figure out how to do that, but with me doing it, not you doing it.
No, I understand.
No, I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just...
No, I know. That's why we're trying this now, so that we can try to work out some of these kinks when we're not in an actual...
And I have absolutely no idea how to go into Patreon stuff except to just mimic things that you do, so I don't know.
Just pretend it's the top of the show, right?
Yeah, no, I understand the concept. I'm just saying that I don't know what to say about them because I only hear you do it. Does that make sense? It's like the same thing that we all have trouble with when Jared started hosting the show because we've only heard you do it. Does that...
Yeah, how do we fix... So, how do we fix
I don't
that?
know. More drinks near me. Yeah.
Yeah, we need the Soma bar.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, what we're doing right now is just a practice round.
Well, this will not be used in the show.
Into the actual show.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be used, but we want it to act just like we would. Right?
Yeah, we want it to be as close to a show as possible, because otherwise, what's the point of doing it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, what I'm trying to do is, here's what happened, is the news energy was great. The flow was pretty good. I think things were a little bit too long, but I think that's just because it was the first time we did it. So I think we can tighten it up just a pinch. I like the conversational
Well, I mean, things are going to go long because we're conversing about it.
Yes,
I mean,
and I understand and I accept that. The conversational factor was brilliant, and the fact that you brought in questions was awesome. I'm just, the only thing I felt didn't quite work was transitioning between the segments. And by the way, chat room, feel free to disagree with anything I just said. We absolutely value your comment. And Dutta, same thing with you. What did you think?
Sure, but at the same time, when you're done with a conversation, just like you would in real life, you wouldn't be like, that's a great story, Jared. So, Mike, what have you got to entertain us for a while?
Yeah,
like,
but,
that's just
but
not...
in fairness, you wouldn't also be like, well, Mike, you're going to talk about this conversation now either, right? I mean, that's not how a natural conversation would go.
Right, so it's not going to be completely natural conversation, but it also... did bend rule number 5.
No, I get that. You're right. It's not going to be totally natural flow, but that's okay because it is still a show. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm trying to have, so the energy from last week's show and the excitement and kind of the enthusiasm and the flow from last week's news segment was great, but it was missing the conversation and it was missing the interaction with the live audience. And if there's no interaction with the live audience, why the hell are we live? You know what I mean? So we need, if we're not going to interact with the live audience, then let's just pre-record the news. So that's the wrong answer. So we need to interact. Yes, I think everyone should respond to everyone else.
Okay.
So Mike,
yeah,
I didn't know if that was fair game.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course.
Everyone is fair game in news, I think. I think, Jared, if you have a question, and you can interrupt each other.
I was going to say,
right?
I realized that I interrupted both of you, but I tried to do it almost purposefully so you would get the idea of like, hi, no, we're talking about this. You don't just get to skip over this right now. We're talking about this right now because I want to talk about it right now.
That's also why I killed, I ran out of time, but anytime I saw a paragraph in your notes, I killed it and I condensed it down to the purest, like, here's the number you need to remember, because that's all you need to remember is the number. Because I realize that you're going to be sitting there and someone's going to be like, well, what is the payload, Leo? And you're going to be like,
it was something really
some number,
big.
But now you've got that number in your notes. You can be like, oh, it's actually, 3,200 kilograms or whatever it is. So, segue harder.
Tarantula, I want to address what you said really quickly. The last part of news topics / images were rushed and stumbled over each other. Yes, absolutely. A, it's the first time we've done it. B, we ran a little bit long. I wanted to make sure that we had some sort of honorable mention, and it was not previously discussed with Dutta what we would do in that particular situation. So Carrie Ann started talking off the cuff, and Dutta did his best to keep up with her. That's what happened. By the way, Dutta did an amazing job and did not know what I was going to do or what I was going to say because neither did I. So he was pressing a lot of buttons furiously and still made that happen. So
actually, I got to give kudos to Dutta.
Yeah, no.
Dutta's
really.
Dutta's technical directing abilities from when he first started to when he's here now have improved greatly, and this show is as
nothing
awesome
without
as
him.
it is purely because of him.
Yeah.
And without him, we would be forever lost. So
That's
there.
right.
So yeah, it might have felt a little rushed or a little stumbled. Basically, it was. But at the same time, it was.
Actually, I want to give Dutta even more kudos because Orbit 10 is going to be absolutely epic.
Yeah.
And that is purely because of his ability to CAD out this stuff, build these sets on nights and weekends, and like
After going to work and after going to school and having a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be very clear about that.
What he is doing for this show is above and beyond anything we've ever asked for, and I just wanted to publicly recognize the fact that it is what it is because of him. So, on that note, on that super dramatic...
Rushed more than stumbled, sure. I mean, I'll give you that much. I really didn't know how I was going to do it, and it just came out of my mouth. And a lot of times when I get nervous, I speak really fast. I speak really fast anyway, even when I know what I want to say.
That's true.
Right?
Quick
so
and to the point.
I just do. So yeah, that's partially me. I'll take credit for that part, or blame for that part is totally fine. Yeah, no, and then we want to have a little bit of discussion. If there's something you guys don't understand, don't like, don't know, want to know more about, we want to make sure that we have that as part of the discussion of news. It's not just us, giving you news. At least that's what we're trying to do. Go ahead, Dada. Yeah, totally.
Yes.
I think that's actually going to be the hardest part.
Well,
I think the hardest part
and
is keeping these short, sweet, to the point, and conversational. That's
Right.
going to be our magic sauce.
And I'll take the blame for Ben and I did discuss that I would be doing the news segment, that I would be hosting the first segment. I A, completely forgot about it, so therefore I B, did not look over the news stories in any way, shape, or form, and didn't pick out the things that I thought would flow better, would be interesting, or anything along those lines. So that's totally my fault on that part. Yeah, but I should know a little bit of something. Like, I feel, you know what I'm saying? Because then it was sort of like, I don't even know what the next thing is, as I am now reading it live on air. I should have at least read headlines. You know what I'm saying? Huh.
So, Mike, what else happened in space this week?
Yeah, I guess I should. Yeah, but if I'm going to be wrangling anything, I still need to have a decent idea of which game I'm playing. You can't just say I'm playing a game. It could be Settlers of Catan. It could be Exploding Kittens, and those are two completely different kinds of games. Like, I need to know something.
Yes.
All right. On that note, are we ready? Do we have enough data to at least try something?
Sure.
Yeah, let's just do a practice round.
All right. I mean, we're not using it in the show, so we can screw up epically. It's not a big deal. I just want to see. I just want to try this flow. So.
And for all of you playing at home, we want your participation as if this is brand new to you too. Yeah.
Well, it is because that's why we're choosing those two news segments.
Sure, but at the same time, the chat room could totally go off on their own conversation, which they already have.
Room, yeah, that's a good point. Chat room, play along. Pretend this is the news segment. All right, Dada, go to black.
Right.
Let's do this thing.
And apparently, you'll have to explain your shirt.
Oh, yeah. I will.
And welcome to Tomorrow 9.36. This is so exciting. I can't believe we've gotten this many shows just this season, because there's many other shows, or many other seasons we haven't gotten this many shows. In any case, I want to give a huge shout out to our Patreon Premier members. These are the people who have donated or who have given us $10 or more. Can we start this over again, because this is not how I would run the show, because that would be complete crap in every single way.
Oh, shit.
Ah!
It's okay. Get it out. Just let it out.
So I'll get the wiggles out.
What the hell?
You're right. I shouldn't say "and." It's what Ben always says, and so it gets stuck in my head. It's just an automatic. I end up mimicking the things that he does.
It's because of rule number 5.
There's no rule number 5. Welcome to Tomorrow 9.36. I lost everything because I tried very hard to not say "and." I didn't have the date. How about we do that? Because that's at the top of the thing. One more time, please. Don't hate me, and I will do everything I can to not do anything out of the ordinary.
You got it, Carrie Ann.
That's why we're doing this. We're doing this for practice.
Give me a high five. Let's get back in it.
Sure, but at the same time, like... Yeah, just 9 years. It's fine. I got it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I need a second.
Yeah.
Photon video, thank you. For some reason, that's exactly what I needed. All right, ready? Welcome to Tomorrow 9.36, or some people would like to say 9.36, although I'm not really sure why. It is Saturday, November 5th, 2016. Thank you for joining us. And at first, I want to give a huge shout out to our Patreon Premier members. These are the people who have given us $10 or more for this segment of the show, which is our new segment, and I really love it. And I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are super amazing, and I so much appreciate the love and support that you guys give us every single time. As we get started, I want to introduce myself. I am Carrie Ann Higginbotham. With me, as always, is Jared Head and Space Mike, because like I said, I really like calling him Space Mike, and so that's what we're going to do today. In any case, I want to get started. Normally we do a couple of launches, but at the top of the show, I want to make sure that we get some really interesting things going on, because we found some weird stuff on Mars. Jared, is that what's going on?
Yeah, every once in a while, you know.
This is like real weird stuff, not like weird stuff, right?
Yeah, not weird stuff.
Okay.
This is like actual legitimate weird stuff.
Okay.
So when you're driving Curiosity, once they stop moving it,
as you do, yes.
When you drive a rover on Mars, you take images around the rover to make sure that you know what's around it. And in one of those images, they found this rock, which has an arrow for here it is, looking at it.
Now I know which one to look at.
They called this rock Egg Rock, and they actually ended up taking a closer look at it because it looks different from all the other rocks in the area. And they shot it with a laser from ChemCam, which reads the chemical signatures of the material being vaporized.
It took a picture. Wait, what?
So,
it sounded like you said like a weird app name. What did you say?
ChemCam.
Like chemical?
Chemistry camera.
Chemistry camera. Okay.
This is a system based on what us geologists actually use in the field, where you will zap a rock with a laser, and it will analyze the light that comes out of the vaporized rock, and from that you can determine what this is made out of.
That's really cool. That's like a thing?
Yes, it is a thing. It's really cool.
So
Although
amazing.
when we're in the field, it's
no
usually
idea.
like a backpack and a thing, and it's really big. But they've made it small enough to fit on Curiosity.
Okay.
It's the little circle on the top of its little head. So that's what it is.
Looks like its eye.
So they shot it with the laser, and they ended up finding that it was made almost entirely out of iron and nickel, which meteorites are made out of iron and nickel. Now, they can also be made out of stone, but they've come to realize that this is actually a meteorite on the surface of Mars.
Wait. So this is... Have we not found a meteorite on Mars?
No, we have found meteorites on Mars before.
Why do I feel stupid right now?
It's okay.
Okay.
No, this is the fourth meteorite that we've actually found on Mars.
Okay.
So
Why is this one in particular significant if we've already found other meteorites on Mars?
this one looks different from the other meteorites? Which tells us something about it. That means that at some point in its process of entering the atmosphere, it changed in a way that the other meteorites didn't.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
And we
Thank
like
you.
to we like to study meteorites on Mars because meteorites here on Earth are subjected to erosion and weather and other things
Sure.
that they aren't subjected to as much on Mars.
Is that because of lack of atmosphere?
Exactly, lack of atmosphere, lack of wind, lack of rain, and all the other fun things that you have to contend with here on Earth.
All right.
So that's why it's so awesome when we get to sample meteorites on Mars.
Okay, so we
because-
found a weird meteorite on Mars.
Yes.
That's, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
That's it. Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty great.
No, I'm into it. I just wanted to make sure I was still understanding what was going on.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mike, I hope your story is as weird as that one.
Well, maybe not so weird. It's bringing things a little bit closer to home.
Yeah.
This is actually the Soyuz MS-01 crew that had 3 crew members returned to Earth last Sunday.
So
And,
literally close to home. I see what you did there. That was good.
Beautiful picture. The pictures are getting better and better of this. But with this, they undocked from the International Space Station last Saturday after our live show, and it had Russian cosmonaut Anatoly Ivanishin, NASA astronaut Kate Rubins, and Japanese astronaut Takuya Onishi on board for this. Now, they actually had a bit of a shorter mission than normal. They only spent a little bit less than 4 months at the space station. But despite that shorter mission, they saw 4 visiting vehicles, and Kate Rubins especially had a lot of achievements. She did the first ever successful space DNA sequencer experiment, which is a big deal, and she went on 2 spacewalks with Jeff Williams, one of them to install the International Docking Adapter, and another to install a pair of radiators. And
That's
there's
really
the
cool.
crew, the picture of the crew, safe and sound on the steppes of Kazakhstan. And I'm very happy that this new type of Soyuz capsule, the MS series of Soyuz capsules, was able to complete a full mission successfully, and there weren't any major problems with it. So I'm very happy about that. And by the way, the landing on Sunday was at 3:58 Coordinated Universal Time.
So why was this particular one shorter than normal?
I believe that the reason this one was shorter was because of a lot of the schedule delays and the whole year in space that Scott Kelly, thank you. I was just like,
Easily confused, the other Kelly, got it. Yeah.
Scott Kelly, with that year in space, that kind of threw off a lot of the schedules, and the Soyuz vehicle.
Did we not know we were doing this? How did this throw off schedules? I don't understand. Like, this isn't like, you guys, I feel like I'm just going to spend a year here instead. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't like a teenage girl going over to Europe, well, 20-something, college-age girl going to Europe backpacking and being like, calling her parents going, I'm just going to stay a little bit longer. I don't understand. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be that funny, but like, sincerely, did we just not know this was happening? I don't get it.
No. We purposely planned for this. We purposely planned for this.
Well, we did. They didn't. Is that?
Get the astronauts back on schedule of doing 6-month stays at the International Space Station. And the year in space mission that lasted 1 year, plus a lot of the delays of sending up new crews to the International Space Station, is what caused a lot of the delays in the first place. And that's why this mission was a bit shorter to kind of make up for that. So the 3 astronauts who are at the space station right now, they're going to be staying there for 6 months. They're going to be getting another mission on November 19th, I believe. That's going to send up 3 more crew members, and then they should be back on schedule from there on to have 6-month stays instead of longer or
so like
shorter.
the bad news is you got a shorter stay.
Yeah.
The good news is everything happened while you were there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You did all the things.
That's all the things. All right. Awesome.
Dragon, they saw progress, they saw Cygnus.
Yeah, no, that's like crazy pants.
Jeez.
That hasn't happened a whole lot though, right? Like all those vehicles coming and going. What was the one where all the vehicles were attached to the International Space Station all at the same time? It was like all of the things that could be there were there all at the same time.
Yeah, it
Remember?
was earlier this year, if I
Was it
remember
this year?
correctly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there was that photo several years ago for one of the last space shuttle missions where there was a Japanese HTV, the European ATV, a Progress, a Soyuz, I think multiple Progress and Soyuz, and the space shuttle itself.
Yeah, the family portrait is what they called it. So.
Oh yeah. That's really cool. We need that on a shirt. Yeah. All right, well, so that's all we've got for now. I'm sure next week we'll probably have a couple more honorable mentions, and if you stay with us, we'll be having an interview with Jim Cantrell coming right up with our very own Ben Higginbotham. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. He didn't actually have to play it, but that's hilarious.
I heard that in my ear, I'm like, really? I
didn't know how to end. I was like, okay, we're done with this experiment now, right? Yeah, I really suck at choosing which camera to look at, apparently. Sorry. I chose one camera, and I just decided to stick with that one instead. Obviously.
I think what the segment we just did with Jared was probably the best news segment we've done all year. That was absolutely fantastic.
I didn't mean to throw that off. It was, once I really started listening to the words, not that I don't normally listen to you, but I was like, I'm sorry, why do we care about this?
No, what you did, that is exactly what we need. What you did is you asked general questions that I wasn't even sure that I was thinking. No, it was absolutely perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
And I also did not mean to completely derail it. Like, I don't know if that was just the mood that I was in, but it just seemed really odd. You're like, well, yeah, the schedule got ran off for everything. Like, how do we not know what the frickin' schedules are for the International Space Station?
No.
That sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. No, but that... Sure, Sure, but I was way more casual than I think I should normally treat this show.
I think this is exactly how the news should be.
Yes.
Based on what I just saw, the conversational tone extends each news item by about a minute to a minute and a half. So
Easy.
what we need to do is we need to bring it down to 4 news items instead of 6 each week, I think. Okay. Does everyone agree with that?
Well,
Sure.
there's every once in a while, though, there is...
Not including launches. Launches
yeah,
are
I was
their
going to say,
own
launches
thing.
are their own thing.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And always assume that the last 2 are going to dump. I don't think I like the honorable mentions.
Well, but I looked at what they were, and I was like, I feel like that is an honorable mention, though. Like, we don't have to always build in an honorable mention, but I looked at those 2, I was like, well, frickin' Soyuz coming home. Like, how do I not even at least mention that on a show that covers space? Yeah, we plan for, all right, so we prepare 6, we plan for the best 4. If we don't get the other 2 in, it's just too bad. Okay, I mean, yeah.
That's what happens.
But I don't want a great news story to get lost. See what I mean?
Then we'll have to put the ones that we really
No,
want
that's
to
what
talk
space
about.
pods are for. No, those are
That's what
space
space pods are for?
Absolutely. That gives
right.
us the ability to go, you know what, we really wanted to cover that. We'll go ahead and cover that. And if we need to do an extra space pod that week, then we do an extra space pod that week.
All right. Yeah.
So the chat room's asking, okay, so these are valid questions. Chat room's asking, is there a time limit on the show? Because one could argue, just do all the news, and if it goes long, who cares? A couple things to note. The flow of the show and the timing of the show, while it doesn't seem it, is actually very important, and you want to be fairly consistent with that. So we want to target 13 to 15 minutes for the news, somewhere in that range. Now, we've actually been, if we go a little long, that's fine. If we go a little short, that's fine. But you really want to target a specific time frame, because if you go too long, even if it's all interesting, it just wears on you when you're trying to watch the show. The other thing to remember is we've got guests now, basically every week, standing in queue, sitting there, waiting for us to get to them. So if we spend 30 minutes on news, even if it's fairly interesting, I've got that guest sitting there who's been waiting for 45 minutes to come on the show now.
Yeah, that
And some of
sucks.
these guests are,
Busy people.
busy, high, important people. Like Jim owns his own space company, right? So I don't want to keep him there for longer than necessary. Also, we don't have to cover absolutely everything, right? We can put it into space pods. If it wasn't important enough to put at the top of the show, maybe it's not important enough to bring into the live conversation itself. It should be conversational news. And that's the other thing that we need to work on just in general is right now the show rundown doesn't have any cohesion to the flow. I think Dutta and I ultimately need to work on that. I don't think you guys need to be responsible for that. I think you and I need to mind meld before the show and actually create something that makes sense. The only other comment I'll make is that with launches, I think launches are kind of we're a space show, we're all interested in launches, but I think that one does need to maintain the non-conversational, like 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, done, right? Like, it launched, here's what it did, awesome, we out.
Launches are pretty obvious what's going on.
Exactly, right?
Well, yeah.
It's 30 seconds of data, so it's going to be probably about 90 seconds total, maybe not even quite, right? So here's a launch.
But-
we see it launch, lifts the pad, clears the tower, here's 30 seconds worth of data, we're done.
But
with that
as we
one.
discussed last week, with the exception of something that's so, like it's a brand new rocket
Yep,
or
I agree. Yeah,
anything
there
like
will
that.
always be exceptions.
Okay, just
Yep.
want to be really clear about that.
Yeah. So, like Long March 5, that's an exception. Brand new rocket. We would have been like, okay, here's the thing. We probably would have opened the show and that
More
would have
than
just been...
3 people in the chat room have suggested doing the interview first.
So we did that. Remember, we did the interviews first, and y'all hated that. There were
Well, they
several
hate
shows...
every change.
Yeah, I know. There was... Yeah, what Doug is saying, he didn't like it, the show didn't flow, and I tend to agree. There's a certain dynamic that happens when you have the news up front, and it's, I don't know.
Space Vogel, we're working on that.
What's the question?
We wanted to do the whole show nonstop live.
Actually, you'll notice we're very close.
We are
very,
pretty
very
close. We don't have the open, but everything else so far you've seen in real time.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely. And if you go back
you guys
even
remember
2
how
months.
long it used to take to set up between the news and interview segments?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? So we'd have to break down and do all this stuff. Nope, not anymore. We went boom, boom, boom. And by the way, you guys probably didn't know this, but we were not ready to start the interview segment when we went live today. Right? So camera were still being moved, things were still being adjusted, but I did not care and I forced forward because that's how the show is going to be. It is a cohesive show, start to finish. The only thing we haven't finished out yet is that cold open, and I'm purposely dragging my feet on that until we figure out the news.
Okay,
but
so
frankly,
here,
what
wait,
I
wait,
just saw, I think we figured it out.
But okay, so you guys are making a lot of interesting suggestions, like interviewing the interview first, like recording it first and then plugging it back in. That takes editing. Doing the interview first but plugging it back in, that takes editing. Doing the interview completely differently and then plugging it back in anywhere, the front, the back, that doesn't matter. All of that takes editing. The whole idea here is that we do it from top to bottom, no editing needed.
Right.
All of it.
That's not that's just me trying to make a neat, cohesive show.
Sure.
That's not ultimately the point. Remember, we did do that before, right? We would do the second segment first, and then loop back and do the first segment, and then the third segment. And when you do that, the energy shifts incorrectly in the show. There's a natural progression to the energy of the show when you do it in order that you miss when you do it out of order like that. And sometimes we would reference things that hadn't happened yet, right? So there was a time when we referenced something in the news. How did that work?
Yeah, every once in a while we'd reference something that we just talked about in the interview, but we referenced it in the news, and when we re-edited the show, because
it was all backwards,
it was
and out of whack.
backwards, so we would reference something that in the show, if you're watching it recorded,
hadn't happened yet,
and that didn't make any sense. And as human beings, we fail at that. Like, it sucks, but we do. That's what happens when it's not scripted. Stuff like that's going to happen.
Old Bill has an interesting idea. I actually did not mind doing the news segment like we just did in After Dark. I actually thought that was kind of fun. So if we have 2 additional items, maybe we do those 2 additional items in After Dark. Because if we're doing the cold open up front,
right? I mean, that might be.
We can say, look, we've got some additional conversation coming up in After Dark, and that's. I mean, I don't know if that works, but that's just an idea.
Sure.
It's an interesting idea from the chat room.
Yeah. What do you think?
Something else too, even though it might be kind of a forced conversational thing, is maybe we should go into the rundown and almost write in interruptions and write in questions. You know what I mean? Like,
this is going to sound terrible, but that sounds like work, and I don't want to do it.
No, I actually want to go.
That's my initial reaction. Is like, why would I want to throw in a forced?
No, you don't. I want to go the other direction. I actually want to make the rundown smaller. The rundown should have core critical data for you so that when you need to look something up, you've got it right there at your fingertips. But ultimately, that's all it's for. It is not something to read off of. It is not a script. It is purely a crib sheet, basically, of like, here's some stuff. Otherwise, everything else is a conversation.
All right, so we like that. That's interesting. We have some things to talk about, some things to think about, while, we're all together, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, can we stop talking shop for a second?
Yeah.
I'm bored with this.
Yeah, what did you want to talk about?
I don't know anything. I know. I just said anything, and I didn't mean any. Oh, I'm off camera, but that's okay. We pretend.
Oh no, it looks like you're off camera, but you're in the view meters,
Am I?
which
Okay.
they can't see.
Good. Yeah. I think you and I chose the wrong shirts to wear.
What should we have worn?
I don't know, but like you're wearing brown and I'm wearing black, and it's weird. You have to explain your shirt.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to, but somebody asked.
Well, if you've ever watched the movie Blazing Saddles, you'll know that
I did about 1 million years ago, but
Mel
I don't remember
Brooks
that.
plays a governor in it named William J. Lepetime, and they talk about running him for president in it because he appoints the first black sheriff in the Wild West.
Gotcha.
So,
favorite drink? It depends. Favorite drink of what? I really like Coke with grenadine.
What
I think
favorite
it's really amazing.
No, you like grenadine with a splash of Coke.
Well, whatever.
Food? What Well, we had technical issues. I'll talk about that. We'll fix those.
Let's talk microphones.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we know it froze. Sorry, guys.
Oh, actually, so one of the things I'm looking to change for the new set, I haven't figured out if we can do this yet. Once we get a good chunk of this in place.
He did it again. I can't stop him. I'm sorry.
What? What did I do?
Yeah, I'm watching Westworld. Thanks for asking. What do you think?
Holy
Yeah?
crap, what?
You think, holy crap, Westworld? Yeah?
How far in are you? We're only like 3 or 4 episodes in.
I think we're caught up.
I had to talk Ben into watching a second episode.
I did not. So normally with stuff like that, I'm either hooked or not on the first episode. Although, having said that,
You're so full of crap, though. You're not, though. There's so many times I've had to make you watch a second episode of all different kinds of things.
Firefly is one of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
first
saying.
episode, without giving any spoilers away, the first episode was a nice build-up, and it was like I was watching a movie. It felt like it was 2 hours of content inside of an hour, and I was all, okay, this is interesting, kind of.
I thought it was cinema. I didn't have that reaction to that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have a TV in my room.
That's probably for the best, honestly.
Did you know that you can watch it on your computer?
Hey, Mike,
can?
what are you eating? Somebody wants
Nice.
to know.
I'm eating Crunch Donuts, the cheapo kind.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That sounds amazing, actually. Yeah, no, Dutta was floored, is essentially what he said.
Black Mirror. We just got through the latest episode, the latest Black Mirrors.
Black Mirror's really good.
The last
But
one.
Black Mirror, this is how I have had to describe it to people. First of all, each and every episode of Black Mirror is self-contained. You do not need to watch them in any particular order. There aren't any crossover-y things. It does not matter. So it's a whole bunch of different episodes that they've decided to put under one umbrella. So great, there's that. Black Mirror is interesting and sometimes extremely twisted. And it's almost never positive.
Nope.
Almost never.
Well, I'm not watching it.
It just, but it
Oh yeah, they killed what, 250,000 people in the last one.
it makes you think. It's really interesting. Yeah. But yeah, you
The
should.
Expanse is amazing, but they don't come back until like 2018 or something stupid.
I could not get into The Expanse.
What? Yeah, I know you're wrong. Although,
You're wrong about whatever. Go on.
I don't know. I'm not sure I like where they're going with the whole weird thing at the end with the organism-y thing. You watch The Expanse?
Meh.
At least we
I've
have
watched,
some
like,
decent.
the first 4 or 5 episodes, and I didn't watch the rest of the first season.
They kinda-
There were only,
they-
like 8 episodes in the first season anyway.
They were
Yeah.
going down an interesting road of like politics and war about to break out, and then they kind of went boink at the end, and it was.
Destructor 1701, yes, there are very tiny little Easter eggs that do kind of link them together. The set direction on Black Mirror in general is really, really good. All the tiny little things where they can't do actual product placement, or maybe they choose to not do product placement because it's supposed to be slightly in the future. So instead of like a U-Haul, they have a U-Schlep. And so they use a U-Schlep vehicle in a couple of different episodes, but it's like a couple different episodes over like 3 different seasons. So, but it's not supposed to necessarily be like super funny per se, because it's kind of a darker series. But yeah, it's little stuff like that that'll be off in the background. One of my favorites was one of the first episodes of the current season. She's trying to plug in the electric car, and it looks like a gigantic plug for lightning plug for your iPhone. It looks like a huge one of those, and I was laughing like, how ridiculous! But at the same time, I mean, I use that plug pretty much every single day, so I don't see why you couldn't use it for a car.
And then you realize.
Right. So there's little stuff like that. So the things that they have, really like the set direction that they have. There's one episode where everything is like in these really interesting pastel-y sort of Instagrammy, if Instagram was real life kind of thing.
I feel like so. This is where Black Mirror
Really
is interesting.
beautiful.
If you take any one of our technologies and just crank it to 11, I feel like that's where it goes.
Right. Yeah, oh yeah, totally. And I think that's what Black Mirror is kind of like about in a slightly dark way. But it's interesting. Junipero was amazing, and I cried. I think it's the best episode they've had. Although I would put it up against the Christmas episode or the holiday episode that they had with what's his name, John Hamm in it.
I don't know. I like the B's. I like the B one, the last one.
Really good, really really good. Yeah, weird stuff, but really good, interesting, makes you think. Yeah.
I was
Where do you
saying
guys
what?
watch this show?
I'm sorry, say again.
Which show?
Dark Mirror. Is that what you're saying?
Black Mirror. So the idea is that, most of us have a cell phone in our hands, right? Looks about like this. And when you look at it, if you really need to, it can act as a black mirror, as it were. So this is like a reflection of all of our computer screens and phone screens and everything that we look at and interact with every single day.
So is it one of those like technology bad?
It's
Edison
not a technology bad thing, but
it's what happens when you take technology and turn it to 11.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, if it goes unchecked and we just let anyone do anything they want, that's what happens.
Okay.
Can I watch it online for free? Anywhere?
I don't actually
Netflix.
know. Is it Netflix?
Yeah, do you have a
Is it
Netflix
on
account?
Netflix?
Yeah. Netflix
So that wouldn't
grabbed it.
Yeah, that wouldn't really make it.
It's not free, but if you have a Netflix account, then yes.
Yeah, Dark Matter. Dark Matter, a terribly titled show, by the way. Should not be called Dark Matter.
It should an awful open.
It's a terrible open.
And awful music in the open.
Really,
if I
but-
just saw that open.
You know what Dark Matter kind of reminds me of, ever so slightly? What was the one with the puppets? The good episodes where it was him wearing the black T-shirt. The bad episodes where him was wearing the white T-shirt. That's kind of what that reminds me of.
Not Firefly. It was.
Nope, the other
Michael
one.
Crichton was on.
Man,
Farscape.
Farscape. Yeah, Dark Matter ever so slightly reminds me of Farscape, and I don't know why.
Farscape got good when he started wearing the black shirt.
Yeah. He is
If anyone
puppets.
ever wants to go watch Farscape, you have to trudge through the. Actually, you don't even have to. Get to where he's wearing the black T-shirt instead of the white T-shirt, and then it's good.
Much better.
Gotcha.
Pigs in Space,
Yeah, I
also
tried
really
watching
amazing.
it. Couldn't get into the first couple episodes.
Of which one? Of Farscape?
Farscape.
Yeah, because you got to get past the whole. Yeah.
Right, but here's a perfect example of Ben saying, "Oh, well, I mean, I'm usually captivated in the first episode." You weren't captivated in the first freaking episode of Farscape.
No. What I'm saying is,
You weren't even captivated in the first freaking season of Farscape.
No. What I'm saying is, if I'm not captivated in the first one, I generally dump it, and that actually happened on Farscape.
Right.
Someone said to watch it. I watched the one, and I was like, nope. And then someone said, no. Then I said, no. I tried it, and it was awful. It took like another year or two. It was well off the air by the time I went back to it. They said, no, you need to watch with the black shirt. That's how I learned that technique. So I went back to watch an episode with the black shirt, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And then I went backwards to white shirts, and I went, okay, these are all terrible. And then like they started interspersing because they did them out of order because they screwed it up, and then it got good, and I was like, okay, well, this is good now.
I don't know that Dark Matter's like a lame Stargate. Stargate was kind of lame, but that's
Stargate
why
is a
you
lame
liked
Stargate.
it. Yeah,
It made
Stargate
fun
is
of
a lame
itself.
Stargate.
It made fun of itself.
It did. I don't think Dark Matter's quite as bad as Stargate.
In Star Trek Next Generation, the first 2 seasons are okay, and then it gets really good after the 3rd season.
When they
Stuff like
have
that, yeah.
enough budget to put the star fields in the windows, that's when it starts to look good. Really, go back. If you go back to TNG and you look out the windows, there's nothing. It's just black sky, like just blackness.
Okay, Lex.
Kind of like our set.
Freaking explain Lex to me, because I sat through I don't know how many minutes, but it felt like a million, and I still wasn't understanding A, what the heck was going on, B, who I was supposed to care about, and C, why I was supposed to care about them. Because
I don't even remember Lex.
we tried to get through Lex. Like, I don't even think we finished the first part.
Episode?
I don't think it's an episode. It's like a movie or something.
Is that a show about Lex Luthor?
No,
You guys need to watch
it's
a lot more
sci-fi.
sci-fi. I'm disappointed in all of you, and you need to watch more Spaceballs. That's your homework.
I read my sci-fi.
That's fine.
Like
Wait, you do what?
I read.
What's that?
Maybe during the set.
It's like this,
Yeah.
but with like physical pieces of paper.
Why?
Because
I don't understand.
It's entertaining.
So this got marked for me, which is, do I look more critical at TV shows because I'm a video production guy?
Yes.
And no, hang on.
Yes.
I know I do. So.
And no, I can still suspend disbelief.
Yeah.
I'm less into the technical of it, and I'm more into the story. If you have a crappy story, I'm not going to forgive you. If you have a great story, but crappy, like you didn't have the budget for really good effects, I'll forgive the visual effects.
Oh yeah.
Y'all
Hence,
ruined me for space stuff.
which is why he likes Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, Doctor Who has horrible effects, but a lot of 80% of their stories are magical. Literally, they have magic in them.
You know what's awesome is I'm like a physics guy, right? And so we watch a movie and we're watching like Iron Man. I'm like, wouldn't be able to fit all that stuff in there. There's no way. I've ruined her for watching Bubble Guppies.
Children's shows.
Because
I mean, bubble guppies, let's be fair.
Shrimp people, lack of a better
Well, first
term,
of all, shrimp people.
are
Shrimp, lobsters, and
they're
crabs.
swimming in the ocean and then they're afraid of the rain. and so she's like, "You're underwater!" watching a kids show.
To be fair, if it rains underwater, I'm also scared.
It's awesome.
And the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse thing, because they were all flying in space, and then Goofy rolls down the window to hand beans off to Pete and rolls the window back up, and they don't get sucked out or anything, which is stupid.
Destructor 1701 has the quote of the year, possibly, which is, "The imagination has higher resolution than the real world." Hey.
That doesn't explain Lex, man.
It's pretty good.
Hey,
I,
imagination,
maybe I
it
needed
was
to be
drives
drunk or
all
high
innovation.
or both, but I
Constantly nauseous.
Lex, I couldn't do it.
There's two other space movies that are coming out soon that look interesting. I just saw a preview for one called Life that has
I saw that too.
Jake
Oh.
Gyllenhaal and
Mars. Everyone watching Mars on Nat Geo? Have you guys seen the first episode, the preview release?
No, not
Oh,
yet.
no. Homework.
Oh
Everyone.
yeah, Ben is finally caught up to the chat room from last week. Good job.
Wait, what? They talked about that last week?
Yeah, a whole lot.
Okay, well, homework for anyone who didn't. Oh my God, it's amazing. And there was footage that had not been released yet. And I'm like, stop lingering. Like, the webcast guy in me is like, get off the shot. Get off the shot. Get off the shot. That's what was going through my head is, get off the shot. Get off the shot. Yeah. You'll know it when you see it.
Okay.
I think I haven't set up to record. I haven't been home.
Yeah, you need to
Is it
watch
at
this.
least sort of presented in a like documentation?
Kind of, yeah.
kind
It's
of
like
way?
it's almost as if they're making a documentary from.
Oh well, I know what it is. We had an event at work with
sure.
the
I
producers.
was super
so-
worried about it. Like I was given the premise of this, and I'm like, nope, I'm not okay with this. This is gonna be stupid. I think, other than them talking like this, the commander feels he must always speak in this voice. It's slightly aggravating. I don't think I know any real astronaut that's this dramatic.
Maybe Story Musgrave.
No,
You sure? He's pretty dramatic when he talks.
all the time, Jared.
Not all the
it's
time.
not Captain Kirk dramatic.
That's
though,
true.
Like
Jared,
Ben's doing right now.
this. No one will blame you. If you choose not to go, no one will judge you. Jared,
Thanks.
in all fairness, don't think it's the actor's fault. I know he was given shitty material to work with. In my heart, Jared. In my heart. Okay, so that's the commander. That's my biggest gripe with the show.
Also, yeah, apparently you need to watch Before Mars because there's a two female pairing on the first episode that until like about halfway through, one of the women said something about it being her sister that's on the ship. I thought they were a couple. That apparently in Before Mars, that gets explained.
Oh. Yeah.
Good to frickin' know, you guys.
They're saying the commander's. Maybe I should do an episode of Tomorrow in the commander's voice.
You're not forceful enough and you're not like domineering enough.
George Whitesides. Who is virgin? How are you changing the universe, George? This is how I will interview
Actually, no,
you.
now you're starting to sound like the guy from Scream. Right?
It's a horror movie now. You've been chain cuffed to.
Speaking of George, do you know if, what he's doing now at Virgin?
He's the CEO. He's a president of Virgin Galactic.
Not
George
anymore.
Whitesides? What do you mean not anymore?
There was an announcement that someone else is the president like a month ago,
I missed
right?
that.
Or is that the CEO? Am I confusing the CEO and the president
I
as
don't
the
think
same
you
role?
are, Mike. I think you're right.
He might be.
Because yeah, there was an announcement not long ago that someone else was taking over that role, and I'm just like, oh, well.
He may
what's
be
George
president.
Whitesides
See,
doing now?
here's the thing that I can never remember. Was he president and CEO? If so, that's actually two roles that they can then split into two as they
George Whitesides is the CEO.
CEO, but not the president.
And president.
Yeah. So if he was CEO and president,
I thought
Mike
he's.
Moses is the new president.
Thank
of
you.
Okay.
Virgin Galactic.
Who is?
Okay, so that's my bad. I was just confused.
Yeah. So yeah. So he's same thing that he just had two roles, and now he actually did a more traditional like SpaceX. Elon Musk is the CEO, and then a little bit later on, he appointed Gwen to be the president, Gwen Shotwell. But when this company first started, he was the CEO, CTO, and president of the company.
Right. Richard Branson is listed as being the chairman, and George
Because
Whiteside's
he can't be,
being the CEO.
Because the United States something, there were restrictions as to what his something could be.
Stupid.
Are we done?
That's why the spaceship company exists.
Wait. What is
Okay. So cool. It'll be cool to get updates from him.
Yeah, Gwen Shot was amazing.
I think I did a pretty good impersonation of the commander there. I'm pretty proud of that. Are we done? Everyone, we're done?
Yeah.
Good show. By the way, if you had comments on the redone news that we had in After Dark, like feedback that I missed and we didn't cover, please let me know, because we are trying to fix that and get that really freaking awesome before Orbit 10. So I'm willing to play with it now for the rest of Season 9, but I really want that hammered in before we hit Orbit 10. So on that note, thank you everyone so much. We'll see you next week.